Okay, so as you said, we're going to do engaging with writing, process writing. So by the end of the session, you'll have had the opportunity to reflect on our beliefs about teaching writing to our students. I hope not too much this time because I find that with these sessions, we get so interested in the first part, explaining about different situations with our students, that we don't have enough time to explore what to do in an activity later. So we'll try to make it brief. I know that many of you want to speak about what you can do in the class, but we'll try to limit it a little bit and you can do more speaking. If you don't speak at the beginning, you can speak at the end more, okay? Where we can think about practicalities for our next classes with writing, okay? Review key skills, okay? Talk about what is necessary, what they have to learn to do, and apply writing approaches, which is what I'm talking about to, we can try to use more application in this session today, okay? Okay, so here we go. So based on your experience and beliefs, how would you complete these sentences? So because it's we're talking about writing, we're going to make this a writing class here. So I want you to write in the chat for one of these sentences. So if you want, you can put the number first in the chat and then try to continue the sentence. So I'll give you about a minute. Is that possible in a minute? In a minute, write as much as you can.
To choose one sentence?
It can be more than one sentence. See how long you can make it. Would you like 2 minutes? Because you can, it gives you time, because don't forget, when we ask our students to write, they need to think. So I'll give you 2 minutes to do this. And then when the time is up, we'll stop and we'll look and see what people say in the chat. Okay, go. One minute left. If you finished, you can look at the other comments and see which ones you like. You can react to their ideas. Okay, stop. So if you want, just look through the chat and see what you can see. And then I want you to comment on somebody else's idea. Okay? So look at somebody else's idea and then you can raise your hands to comment on it. Just for a few minutes, we'll do this and then we'll continue. but you must comment on somebody else's idea that you haven't said. So just look through the ones that you'd like to comment on that you haven't mentioned and see if you can say something else about it. We'll also talk about if we like teaching writing or not. And if we don't, we can say why.
It's
Sometimes
more than 2 minutes.
no, we finished, but I'm just looking through the comments myself. But I want you to think about, I'm just making little, I'm actually making lots of reactions here, but I want you to now choose one of your colleagues' comments and talk about what they said. And if you want to add anything, something that you didn't say, I want you to read and comment on your colleague's idea. Okay. So just look and see if you can find something from a colleague.
Okay.
This is to encourage you to pick up on things that we do in this session, which is to think about what other people are talking about, because we know what we know, but when we know something that we have learned from somebody else, it makes it more interesting as well, doesn't it? Or something that we know but we didn't say, and it's like somebody reminds you of something. Okay, so I have just reacted to all of these. I looked at all of these. Would somebody like to comment on one of them, please? So has anybody got their hand up? I don't see it. Would like to speak about somebody else's ideas. Just briefly. Okay, Raja, what would you like to say?
I read Rima's comment. I agree with her that the writer is taking, or the learner is taking more time to think and write. But for me, even in speaking, not only the fluency is important, also if they have a good vocabulary repertoire, so they will not be able even to speak if they do not have enough vocabulary.
Exactly.
So
And
it is in a
yes,
parallel line for speaking and writing to have vocabs.
exactly. And it's more evident when the vocabulary is lacking when you're
Yes.
writing because you can see the words again. But when
Eh,
somebody is speaking, you're less conscious of if they're repeating words.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, Rima, what would you like to say?
Hello, Andy.
Hi.
I liked the comment by Amer. Writing is difficult because it involves organizing thoughts and expressing them clearly. And here comes the importance of linkers, complex sentences. You need to make your writing very clear and organized so that the reader understands it well. Not like speaking. In speaking, maybe we can use our voice tone, body language, gestures. This will help you to deliver your message simply rather than writing. So in writing, we need to be very careful because the reader is not hearing us, just reading our words.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you, Rima. Ali.
Yeah, good morning, Andy. I think writing is very, very important and very, very difficult in one case, and one of our orientations, we had somebody told us, do not write in capital letters, because if you're writing in capital letters, you're yelling at somebody. So watch
Exactly.
out for your, if you want to emphasize something, that's good, but just like make sure italicized, underlined, bold, whatever. Just if you write in capital letters, you're yelling at somebody.
Yes.
You're fighting. So watch out, especially in emails.
Yes, like in my emails, if I'm putting something in bold or a specific color, it's because it's super important, but I don't want to be shouting at somebody, just to remind them that this is
Yeah.
super important.
Maybe it's highlighted, right, Andy?
Exactly, it's highlighted. I want people to remember, don't forget, we have a live session and it's compulsory and you have to come and it's on Saturday at 9:30. So just to remind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you capitalize it, you'll be threatening us.
Yes, if I put it in capital letters, I'm shouting at you, and
Yeah.
that's not very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Ali, anything that you read in the chat that you liked that somebody said? It can be
Yes.
something short or long. It doesn't, because sometimes the short answers are just as powerful.
Well, many of us, like, we have the same idea of you need to brainstorm and make sure that everything is correct regarding spelling, grammar, coherence. And we have one issue that I have with my students: extra long sentences. They don't know
Okay.
how to end the sentence.
Okay, so in Arabic, would you make long sentences normally?
We do, and we have the idea of the addition. It's the and. I used to count how many ands in one paragraph, because in Arabic we have unlimited, way of adding things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we use the letter wa. We can add as many things as possible. But English, like, they use and.
I see. So they want it just to keep flowing like you'd have it in Arabic, but in English we need to
Yeah,
stop and pause. Okay.
basically it's like translation from English to Arabic, from Arabic to English.
Yes. So it's like looking at that, because when you're reading it, it's when it becomes more obvious about when there's interference with their own language, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ahmad, what would you like to make a comment about somebody's work or somebody's writing? Or sorry, comment? Go ahead, Ahmad. Don't forget to open your mic. Are you still there, Ahmad? You had his hand up, but maybe. Okay. Do you want to speak?
Good morning.
Okay. Okay. Hi.
I see that speaking and writing, as they are both of them productive skills, I see that students face difficulties with them, whether this one is writing or speaking, as they productive. But I see that each one has its unique, let's say, advantage and disadvantage. For example, in speaking, you have the advantage of having a listener who can help you filling the gaps, responding to you, even your sentence is not complete. So you may receive direct corrections or at least understanding for you.
That's right. So you get immediate feedback. That's really nice. It's like this
Yeah,
a stronger
and
interaction. Yes.
even you didn't get any feedback, but still you have the quick response to you to edit yourself or whatever, or rephrase your sentences. And sometimes you have the advantage of understanding you, even you have, let's say, incomplete sentences.
Yes, exactly.
This is an advantage. And on the opposite side, for writing, still, even you need to organize your writing ideas, but still you have them in speaking, I see. But in
Yes.
this case, you are putting them on a paper. In
Yes.
speaking, you need to organize your writing. But in writing, you have another advantage that you don't have in speaking while speaking to someone, which is the time.
Yes.
In writing, the reader won't read your piece of paper at once, like listening. So still you have the time to edit, have a drafts, get feedback till you have your final say piece of writing. That's
Exactly.
all.
So thank you. Very good. So that idea of
Welcome.
structure and coherence, because sometimes if you read an audio script, maybe it's lacking in coherency because it doesn't offer the same structure as a written text. So exactly. So it's more spontaneous and the sentences are less structured because you're speaking to somebody. Okay, Rima.
Yes, I would like to mention my experience last week. I was one of the jury members for writing an essay in the Ministry of Education. Actually, we had a great student. She's speaking fluently, and she gave us like too many words, too many ideas. But her essay, it was just like what she said. It wasn't organized into an essay. It was like a speech. That's why we felt sorry for her. She was a great, but her writing wasn't like she didn't follow the structure of an essay, the organization, the linkers. It was just a flow of ideas. Maybe this is the common thing between speaking and writing. Like both of them, they need a strong lexical knowledge and ideas, but there should be like an organization and a structure to follow.
Okay, so she was just
Yes.
pouring out her thoughts directly onto a written form. So rather than
Yes.
keeping to the structure and the rules of writing, okay, which could be common in modern
Exactly.
poetry also. So modern poetry would have that format of flow and conversation in written form. Okay,
Yes.
okay, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing that experience. And finally, Ahmad, what would you like to say?
If the student lacks the structure in writing, I think it will be there in speaking.
Yeah,
So
well,
writing doesn't have, yeah. So in that case, maybe there might be a problem in, let's say, in judging the student or the learner or whoever. Maybe you are attracted to the fluency and miss other things.
yes, so
So if you have the same criteria, same areas of judgment, if they are in writing, you will find them in speaking. It's impossible for someone to have, let's say, fluency and accuracy, and in writing he missed the accuracy. Okay,
yes.
so the lack of structure in writing supposed to be there in speaking.
Yes, but sometimes I think if, like I was talking about, if you read an audio script of a conversation, there could be pauses and not full sentences because the other person can interrupt because they know what they're going to say. These kinds of things where the conversation can change a lot because there's a body language, because two people can see each other and you wouldn't have the formal mechanisms of a written text that you can read and rewrite several times. But I know what you're saying. Yes, that also makes sense. And we notice that sometimes a lot of language that mistakes that we make when we're writing, that students make when they're writing, they can make when they're speaking as well. Okay, let's move on. So engaging with writing, reflection, nuts and bolts. Who can tell me what nuts and bolts are? What does this mean?
Say again, please.
Okay, look at the title of the slide. It says reflection, nuts and bolts. What are nuts and bolts? Can anybody tell me? Okay, I'm going to try to show
Detail.
the what? Frida?
It's a game, puzzle, like puzzle.
No, not really. There's no game, unfortunately. We're not going to play any games.
Complete. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to show you so
Not
that you can see because I have
The
this toy.
details, maybe
nuts,
details.
nuts and bolts. It's
Yeah, I know what they are, but sorry, Ahmed.
Okay, so it's like this. So you know what this
strike
is.
الفيلم.
So
The
it's
details, the linking words, capitalization, punctuation, these things.
yes, so it's like what we need, the tools that we need to make something. So what do the learners need to be able to write? So I'm going to get you to work briefly in breakout rooms, and I want you to analyze everything you think a learner needs to have, what they need to take their toolbox for writing in their heads, what they need to possess to write, apart from paper and pen, if they're writing by hand, what else do they need to have in order to write effectively? So I'm going to put you into breakout rooms and you can have a little chat together about the nuts and bolts of writing. Okay. Just going to check the chat for a second. Yes, Alas says practical aspects. Yes, exactly. So I'm just going to put you into breakout rooms now. Hopefully you can all go in. I'm just going to make about 6. So there's about maybe 3 or 4 of you in each room. Okay. So just tap on join and you can go in now. Okay. Okay, Rowan, do you have difficulties going in? Rima, are you okay?
Yeah, I couldn't get in.
Okay, I'm gonna move you to a different one.
Okay.
Just 1 second.
Me
Just
too.
looking
I
for
could
your
start
name.
like too.
What's wrong, Rowan? You can't get in.
Yes.
I'm gonna move you to room 6, for example, and see if you can get in now. And Rima, 1 second. Just looking for your name. I don't know. Oh, it's here. Okay. I'll put you into room 4. 1 second. Okay, try to go into room 4 now. Hi. There's just 2 of you here. So
Yeah,
can you talk to each other? Salam, are you there?
I can hear you, but I
Yeah.
can't hear Salam.
Salam, try to unmute your microphone, please. Because there's only 2 of you in this group. I had to move
Yeah,
somebody. So if there's no conversation, Salam, are you there? Okay, what I will do, okay, you can speak now? Yes?
Yes, you hear
Okay,
me?
okay. So you can talk to each other just for a minute and we'll come back to the main room. Okay. So
okay,
think about what
okay,
the basic things students need for writing. Okay.
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 Okay, thank you. Yes.
Okay, so did you get a chance to speak to each other? Did you make
Yeah.
a long list of nuts and bolts?
Yes, we do
Good.
have the chance, but our list was short.
That's okay.
Yeah, first you need something to write on, basic piece of
Okay.
paper or
Okay.
laptop or whatever. Just like, and we have something in Arabic that the connectors, like the prepositions, because people students are translating from Arabic into English.
Yes.
They always
Mm.
ask us like repeatedly, like what do you mean by this? What do you mean like it's a by or from or to?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like in what
From.
in one aspect they're different. They're the same in Arabic, and they cannot express themselves like in the same way, in the same
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh I would say accurate way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Do
that's
you
it.
do you get them to correct their own writings? But this could be another module where we have to talk about error correction, but maybe because we'll always have that issue with interference from another language. So you could have children who are from other countries who you can see that they are thinking in their own language as well, not just in Arabic, but maybe in other languages, and you have the same difficulty. So
Well, in other languages it's different because
yeah.
like when you attend like let's say French lesson
Mm-hmm.
that you intend to attend that French lesson. You love to learn French, but
Mm-hmm.
in our English or in a second language or foreign language classes, like you're forced to. So
Yes.
not everybody is liking English, at the class.
Mm-hmm.
Probably you'll find like three, four, five students that they will cooperate and
Mm-hmm.
they would love to understand and practice.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do like a foreign language, a session at college or something like a different level, like you want to learn, so you're voluntarily going to that class. So you
Exactly.
do that. But in our classes, like students seems to be forced to, you
Mm-hmm.
know, learn the English.
And like writing, just as speaking is, it's the ultimate task where you're producing what you're learning. So it's where talking like, so your list will be based on that, right? About what they need to obtain to be able to write.
Trust me, after 20 years of teaching in public schools, like uh, no students wants to write. Trust me.
I
It's
got I got students to write this week so that it would encourage me to have ideas for these sessions, but they were willing to. There was one person who didn't want to write at all, and he's extremely shy and was just getting more and more nervous because he wasn't putting pencil literally to paper. So I gave him something to do. So he had to fill in spaces and sentences. So he was just filling in and would feel more productive and less aware of not doing anything. So it's
that,
just, yeah.
that's that's
Mhm.
that's how you just like you it's not I would call it manipulating, but you're not manipulating. You're just like doing another method of teaching him
Yes, just encouraging him so that he
all
feels less.
we all do that like in a way or another, like in classes, but students are very shy with their writing. they
Exactly. Yeah.
they can try to speak more than to write,
Mhm.
because in speaking you are correcting them simultaneously, but in writing, like, okay, I have a big mistake, I don't know if this word fits here or if it's
Mhm.
there. I don't know if this word has multiple meanings that might be like impolite.
Well,
So
yeah.
yeah, so
I,
they'll do that.
yes, but it's just getting them to I think the initially it's like, oh, we have to do a writing. But when they get into it and you keep encouraging them and you go through the different stages in this process writing from the module, it can be encouraging for them. It's just helping them step by step to
I
reach it.
would say my last word, my last comment.
Mhm.
That.
What?
Good luck with that. They are
Yeah.
they are demotivated.
Yeah, and we have to be the ones to say, "Hey, this is going to be great, and let's do it this way first, and then we'll do this, and we'll take
Positive
we'll
energy.
take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll do some more."
We have we
Share
have
with your partner. What have you got? What have you written? So that they can like do like interaction, not just be writing all the time. So that's a little bit of like,
let me be honest. We have
yeah.
energy. Like we're not energetic anymore. Like somebody's like you're frustrated in the class, like more than anything else in the world. So I mean, I'm talking from my experience, and
Yes.
I probably I'm talking about like the 40% of other like teachers who have the same frustrations.
Yes. But it's like it's very easy to be negative. So like it's like if you were positive, it compensates, because if you can keep going and you can find a way to motivate them, it's got its compensation. But if we go into a negative spiral, it just gets worse. And it's so easy to fall into that trap, isn't it? When we're
Yes.
tired, it's a hot
That's right.
day, the children are like getting
By
irritated.
the way, all my colleagues can relate. All of them. All of
Yes.
them. In public
Yes.
schools, all of them, they can relate to what issues that I'm talking about.
I know. You have very big classes, they're noisy. The kids are not interested in being in class. Yeah, I can imagine it can be very
Other than this,
yes, soul
other what
destroying.
has Mr.
Yes.
Ali said,
Yes.
I think teachers themselves use not to approach writing. They don't like teaching writing.
Okay.
They don't themselves write.
So you can't go into a class and think that you have to push your students to write a text. You can just do it in different stages and don't make it obvious to them that they're going to do a writing. So the brainstorming, without saying, today we're going to do a writing, everybody's like, oh. So you can just do it in a different way. Like say, okay, have you ever thought about something that happened to you in the past? And you can get them go from a different angle and then get them to write some words. Then you can get them to make the sentences. So it's like finding a way around. It's like we are fighting against a current, in the sea, and it's going against us, but we have to keep trying to go over the waves as well as we can. Right? Because I have this class on Friday afternoon. It was really hot yesterday. I was sweating. They said they were hungry. They didn't eat properly in the school. They wanted to go home. They have a class with me for 2.5 hours. I have children with attention deficits, hyperactivity. It's like, no. But yeah, it's always a challenge. And I have to think carefully about what I'm going to do in that class. But if you're going into, of course, with you're going into one class after the other, you don't always have time to prepare something nice for them. And it's just thinking about your mindset, keeping your mindset in a growth mindset and not a fixed mindset, which can be very difficult if you don't have the right conditions. Okay, so can you tell me, we're just going to look quickly at the slides now. I hope you had a chance to talk to each other. I'm going to just pull out exactly what the slide says, and you can say, if you can tell me if you can add anything differently that you spoke about in your breakout room. Okay, let's just see. So I didn't show you this question, but when you were writing in the chat, it says here, think about the writing task you just completed, which was when you were writing in the chat to me earlier. What did you need to know in order to do it effectively? So hopefully you've been thinking about these nuts and bolts. So for example, audience. So one of you mentioned this, audience, purpose, background knowledge of the topic. So the vocabulary, the context, okay. How to spell, form letters if writing by hand. You spoke about that before at the beginning of the session. Punctuation rules you also spoke about to me at the beginning of the session. Grammar, word order, which definitely changes a lot in different languages. Sufficient vocabulary. And that's it. So is there anything else that you wanted to say that you were talking about? Just going to look quickly in the chat. Okay, Raja's talking, well, let's look a little bit back. Raja says writing is very valuable for learners because it enhances critical thinking, improves communication skills, and allows for a clear expression of thoughts and ideas. Yes. When writing, learners have to consider their audience, purpose, and the conventions of the specific writing genre, such as grammar, style, and tone. Okay, so we could go on because there's a lot of information there in the chat. Please look at what your colleagues have written. But does anybody have anything else to add here? I suppose what we've been talking about, motivation. We can add this to the list, motivation, right?
Exactly. It's what's missing.
Yes. And I just put style of writing, which could be the same as maybe purpose and audience could be the style of writing. Okay, good. Vida says feedback. So yes, we were talking a little bit about feedback, the way it's a little easier, more spontaneous in spoken form, but the feedback, and was mentioned before as well, yes, feedback. So maybe we could talk about that as the post-writing experience, right? Or it could be during, or you're just going around the room if possible, because you've got big classes and trying to monitor what they're writing as well. Any more comments about this? I think we've covered most of the things at the beginning of the session, or maybe something similar. Motasem says all of these are needed. They complete each other exactly. And then Ahmad says teachers need to provide students with appropriate time for arranging ideas and editing. Exactly. It's one of those things that we forget to think about. Time. So if you have them focused and they are quiet and they could be quiet or not, because they could be working in small groups, kind of brainstorming and mind mapping together. If you have a productive class, which is kind of difficult sometimes, but if you can get them to work together or quietly, you could set a timer and say, okay, for the next 2 minutes, I want you just to think and take notes. Complete silence. Is that possible in your classes? Would they do that for you for 2 minutes?
No, to be honest, no.
I know it's so difficult, especially when we have to think about
40
inclusive
plus
classrooms.
students.
Andy,
Yeah.
sorry, here maybe I'm teaching girls, so for us it is okay, it's possible, and it is the most of the class they are quiet and want to listen and work.
Okay.
Maybe in for boys it is little bit harder.
Yes.
That's my
Remove little bit.
Yes. Yes.
They just want to play.
Yeah. They want to play or they just can't keep still and they have to keep moving around and
As Ali said, they are forced to learn English. They don't
Yes.
want to learn English. Their parents don't need them to
Yes.
learn English.
The
They
class
don't
that
really
yes.
base them.
And it depends on the age group because the class that I was
Yes.
teaching
Yes,
yesterday,
the
they are
level.
like 12, 13 years old. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yes. 50
It's
graders, 60 graders, yeah.
it's the worst, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Yes, Yasmin says, with fifth grade, I always find myself revisiting the basic rules like the present simple, because if not, they would write sentences with no grammar form at all.
Forget about grammar for 50 grade. Just let them write. When I correct for them, I forget about spelling or grammar. I just need to see the idea. If I can understand the idea, this is good enough.
Yes, because if we have something that they can work with, it's a good start, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And then if we're teaching like the past simple or past continuous, you were doing like the narrative, very typical with writing the narrative tenses. If they're older students, they'll be looking at used to, and it just depends. Exactly.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's look at this one. This is our last slide here for today. So we have time. I think we've managed to do the timing quite well today anyway. So just have a look at this slide. So here we can see it says, look at the writing task, decide on a possible audience purpose, what language your learners need to do it well. So to do it well, and possible ways to stage organize the lesson. Just read the task first, and then we can talk about how we can deal with this in a lesson. This was probably taken from High Note, one of your books that you have in your course.
Yes, exactly. This is advanced English.
Has anybody done this task so far in your class?
No.
Is it grade 9 or 8?
I'm not sure which book it's from, but can anybody tell me?
It's 11th grade, High Note 4.
Oh, okay.
So how old would the students be for this?
The
16?
15, 16, yes, 16.
Yes,
Okay, that
16.
makes sense. That makes sense, yes. And what level of English should they have, more or less? A B2 level? B1,
B2.
B2, B1,
Yeah.
B2, yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
they can. Yeah.
Just like for it, just doing this to make the context for us as teachers.
They need to
So
have a lot of vocab, and they need to have a lot of knowledge as well. They need to know how to do research also. Um, well, they need to be advanced students.
yes, I think because of the topic in question,
Yeah,
they need
They
to
have
have
to
that.
use
They need the experience.
social media and
Exactly.
smart advice.
Is this possible? Is the context correct for your students? Would they all be familiar with social media?
of course.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
would. Okay.
they know it better than English, of course.
You know what, Andy? Even the social media and smart devices enhance our students' English language.
It does. It does. I know this personally with my own children
Yeah.
because we
Because
live in Spain, and admittedly their first language is Spanish, not English. But they know more
Oh,
English because of the fact that they are always using social media. We watch TV in English.
yeah.
Of course, my family speak to them in English, but it's not the same. If they didn't have the social media, I shouldn't say this, but their Spanish is probably better than their English because they are surrounded by people speaking to them in Spanish all the time.
exactly. So social media, their interest in social media is their motivation.
Exactly. Okay, so what do you think? How can we approach this? So they're 15, 16-year-olds. So they're not as bad as the ones that are younger. They're 13, 12. They have they're not limited for context. They understand the situation. So
Most of them own phones. Most of them, they have their own phones, not their parents' phones. So they could actually do the research. They could actually,
are they allowed to use their phones in class?
depending on the school.
Okay.
For governmental school, it is not allowed.
So this wouldn't be appropriate for a class, a school where there are strict rules.
Yes, but you could actually ask the principal and get permission, and then ask the student to get their phone on the specific day. So they have like a permission slip to do that.
But they would understand. They would know. I mean, from their own personal experience over
Of course, yeah.
over the last 2 or 3 years, they know if websites like change continually. So just brainstorming. Would you put them into groups? How would you plan this lesson? Who can give me some ideas? I'm just going to look in the chat. So if you want to just think about how you would plan this lesson, and if you prefer, you can just write in the chat about how you would, what stages would you take them through? Okay, so let's see. Ahmad has put a guided discussion, brainstorming with students at the beginning might act like the icebreaker and indirectly provide students with some necessary ideas of vocabulary. Yes, indirectly. Would you tell them at the beginning of the class that would you show them this task, or would you make sure they have their books closed?
It's better to close the books first.
Right. Because if they know what they have to do, the motivation would disappear very quickly. What do you think? Yes. So that's a good pointer. Books closed. You know what they're going to do, but they don't. Not yet.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so Rima puts think, pair, share. Yes. So you could ask them, so how would you get them? How would you instigate think, pair, share? What would you say to them?
Andy, let me
Maybe
just
I would.
let me just put things straight here.
Yeah.
Like students in our class looking for distractions, they're not looking for education, for learning.
Mhm.
Thing there once you even if it's permitted to have their cell phones, they're looking for something totally different than what you're planning to do. So regardless how much you emphasize, like you will have like at least like 60% of the students are not following what you're saying and what you're doing. Like
Yes.
we have complaints about like the new curriculum because it's too difficult. It needs the QR codes and we're all students are always listening for what listening. they're not understanding anything. I told them, no, we just like this is called practice. But
Yes.
they're always complaining about us. And at one point, I told them, you know what? Make your own curriculum and take your students home to teach him. I don't want to hear that more than anymore.
Yeah,
You know,
it's really hard on you because if you hear complaints, it's very hurting. It's very damaging for teachers when they
as,
get
it's
complaints.
as if I wrote the curriculum or
Yes.
I made the curriculum. No,
Yes.
sir. Like this is something that I can't do anything about it. But
Exactly.
facilitate it to make it easier for you and your student, your
Yes.
kid. I mean,
Yes, I know how you feel. I have to work with the material that I have to work with this group on Friday I don't like it at all, but I have to work with it. So I have to struggle, but be positive about this. And I told my students, we have to do project work, which I'm not a big fan of because it can become a bit messy doing project work in classes. But it's finding a way that I think, okay, what are my students like? What can I do to change things around? So you really have to work on your strategy to improve things. I hate negative feedback, and I find it damaging for me. But I know that in some way I have to turn it around so that the negative feedback is like I keep it down and think about what I can do to improve things. But I know, Ali, I'm really sorry that you're having such a miserable time.
well, and it's not for
Yeah.
me. Like
But
if
for all the
all,
teachers, yeah, all the
all
teachers.
this chat, like they can relate
Yeah,
and they have the same issues. Like
yeah.
all have issues. It's like you're always like being. They meant to me to frustrate you like all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to look for some strategies before we finish to try to think about how we can make this class more motivated. So I'm just be careful. Somebody's microphone is on. 1 second. I'm just going to mute Hamza. Okay. So some of you are coming up with some really good ideas to try to improve motivation and productivity in our lessons. And I like the idea you said, think, pair, share, debate, because working them in groups, mind mapping. If you can get a few people in the groups to write ideas, those written ideas can be used, can be robbed when they eventually discover that they have to do a writing for you. Bring real life situations and questions. Exactly. So make it as real and as close to their real lives as possible, because if not, they're not interested. Sometimes the books that they have for teenagers are a little bit insulting for them because they're trying to imitate what a teenager would think, and it's not really it's not real. They don't really relate to it, and they feel that the book is making an attempt to be them, and it's not. So yeah, it's important to get as close to what their reality is as possible so that they begin to use critical thinking, and then they want to write something to explain better. Okay, Rima, what do you want to say?
Yes, the same point. Maybe if the topic is too difficult for them to think about, or maybe the question itself is not written in an appropriate way where students can start thinking. Maybe I'll start with the questions like, do you use social media? Do you have account on social media? They would say yes. Do you have another one, or have you heard recently about any new site? They would say yes. People start to use maybe Truth, maybe X, and these new sites. And then we will have a discussion about them. And then this will lead to the question, do you think that social media that we know today, like Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, is going to disappear or not? And why do you think so? Here, through the question, the kind of brainstorming inside the classroom will let other students get to know the topic, know more about it, even if they don't have mobile phones in the classroom. They will have they will share their background, their experience, and so on, or any other studies they've read or known about. And this will, like the term we learned recently, which is the research facts, where they need to mention facts and the website or the source they read it in. And then we will start after that, after we collect the ideas and so on, the facts, we start to organize them into an analytical essay. And this way, I will then model it for them on board. We'll try to organize the essay. What do we have in the essay? What are the components of the essay? Then it's going to be easy for them to write an essay.
Exactly. So we've kind of covered that. That's a good structure for a lesson plan. And I think we've covered the basic ideas for motivation. Just one thing, teenagers always think that everything that exists is obvious. So they don't really think because they think everything is obvious. So you could make sentences on the board that would provoke them to think, like you could say, social media is rubbish, or social media always has fake news. Things that are provocative and getting them to think, no, because, and it gets them really excited and they want to explain why not, okay? So that would help them,
their critical thinking.
Yeah, so making some sentences, like put some sentences on the board that would make them jump at you and say, that's not true because, well, explain why, tell me. So you, even though you don't believe what you're writing on the board, it's making them, convincing them to explain what they think. I had a geography teacher who always said in the first form to all the students, the world is flat. So we had to prove to him why it wasn't. So we thought that he was crazy because we were only 11, 12 years old. But he was making us think why the world is round. So that was nice, even though some people today still believe the world is flat. Okay, so because where do we find the writing in books? So where do we see it in a module or a unit in a book?
At the end of the module or
By the end of the,
At the end. Why? Why do we see it at the end of the module? Because
the productive skill?
they want us to use the grammar and vocabulary from the unit, right?
Yes.
What we learned.
What they have.
Okay, so it's like just going back, reminding them, doing some revision. So that could be the next thing. Like we could do a quick quiz, with the grammar vocabulary,
To
and
apply
then
these things.
just to make them remember so that they feel that they have some of those nuts and bolts for the writing. Or you could slowly, rather than that, you can just introduce in your statements, you can be putting in this language, and that they're going to react in their answers with the same language. So you can subtly introduce the language to them again while they're thinking about why not in their answers for making writings. And then stage. So of course, we've already mentioned about maybe drafting, writing, editing, that kind of idea, checking, and then checking for repetition. So one of the differences between speaking and writing we mentioned before was that sometimes we repeat more than we think when we're speaking the same language we use, but when we're writing, we can see it. So it could be one of the typical things we see when we correct writings is the fact that the words are repeated. So there's a lack of vocabulary. So get them to think about synonyms or substitution like this or it when it's necessary. Those things at this level, they should be doing. So at B1, B2, they have to learn about substitution, synonyms, rephrasing, using pronouns like that to avoid repetition. Rima, did you want to add something?
No, I've just heard. I forgot to lower my hand.
Oh, okay. So this is the idea. And because we know what mistakes they're going to make, so help them to not make them before they give them to you. So when you're editing, you can remind them. You could put some sentences on the board to think, okay, did anybody put this or something similar? Would you get them to look at each other's writings in class if you do the writing in class time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they can
read for each other and try to correct any mistakes to check their pair markers.
Exactly. Okay, so that's good. So we will have there is an assignment. So this Monday you will get an email from me telling you that there is another assignment to do. But don't forget that I will give you 2 weeks to do this. So let's see how you can plan your time, which week will be less busy for you. And you'll see all the information in the email. Okay.
Okay.
Then try to give me about 2 weeks to correct it, because I try to get through the assignments like as well as I can, looking at your ideas carefully. So yes, give me some time to correct, but you have
No
about
problem.
2 weeks to do it, okay? And when I have everything corrected, as usual, I will send an email or WhatsApp to say the assignments are on the platform with feedback, okay?
Okay.
All right, so nice to see you. Thank you for all your collaboration. Well done, everybody. And I will see you next Saturday, okay?
Okay, inshallah.
Okay.
Okay, take care then. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Same to you. Thank you.
Okay then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.